In terms of the developing chronology, the next major experience was the mural in Gonzaga Hall in Fairfield University, 1959, where Bud became interested in the Italian Renaissance. And from there, he moved to a painting which was a landmark departure, and also as a kind of key to his style. Interestingly enough, the painting still is in his home, A Man with a Wounded Bird. And what we've done here is use the camera to work with the total image, and then to go through portions of it, trying to evolve. Now, interestingly enough, this is an early slide in which the painting was not complete. As we start to go through the painting, we'll come back to another one, a complete slide as the painting exists today, and we'll see a slight difference. At any rate, you said the first. Did you want to talk about this one, or just go to the first image?
We'll go to the first image, I think, because that's where it began. I just wanted to make this point. There are certain paintings that I think a person, any artist, feels belongs to them. The holiday Marie wanted me to mention specially. Marie has always felt very sentimental about Holiday, because it was the first painting that we won an award with and became very important to us as a painting. The Man with a Wounded Bird belongs to Marie. The bird belongs to Marie. And Marie has always felt very strongly about this painting and being part of our family. What I wanted to say about the painting itself was that multiple image began. I just use that word multiple image. It probably is a poor word to use. Image, not necessarily in motion, but an image that is changing in one sense in motion, another sense in emotion, almost change of attitude or personality. Now this one began simply the same as all the others, thing to draw with no plan, no special looking forward to anything, but just the seeking out, just the mystery of it all, just the excitement of something happening while you're actually making these marks. It's just like, it's just like, one thread leading to another. And here, this Harlequin was the first figure that evolved here. And the motion of the hands were the things that interested me about it. The change of attitude, the restless interested me about it. The change of attitude, the restless, the restlessness of this particular figure. He's the only one in the beginning in this panel. And his left hand is up. And it had some kind of thing in it in the first few minutes. And then it became, then I felt, well, these brush marks look like a bird. And so a bird evolved out of these few quick brush marks. The second figure came about, a man in armor. Now the first figure is evolved, and I felt that here, the armor almost again came about accidentally, but as it began to work out, I felt that here I had a figure of a warrior in contrast to a figure of a harlequin. That's as far as any kind of thinking went. It's hard. A couple of days ago, we were in a conversation about Larry Rivers and his lecture, and Bob said it's difficult for an artist to recall of the path of thinking that might have gone into this type of painting, out of the painting. It's pretty difficult to go back after, I don't remember now how old this painting is, offhand. What was it?
Well, I've got it down as 1963.
Well, you can imagine, then go back to 1963 and remember the path of thought, or what direction your mind with the word bird is, and of course you can read back into it. The warrior and the harlequin were such an odd couple, as it were.
I think what's important, what surprised me is that the relationship when you pointed out that this was the second figure, I began to see that the relationship when you pointed out that this was the second figure, I began to see that the armor is certainly not any authentic representation, but more influenced by the bird image you suggested.
The helmet, I just sort of was designing a helmet. And then I realized that the helmet looked bird-like. And then I realized that the helmet looked bird-like. And this threw the thing back then to another direction. I began to feel that the bird in the Harlequin's hand became the center of interest. That this bird-like helmet sort of pointed at a bird. That's the title of the painting. I don't know whether we brought that up.
The man with a wounded bird. Had you identified the bird at that time?
Not to that degree, but once the helmet was in there,
then you began to think of the bird as the central motif then.
The central motif, and the bird began to mean something.
And I know many of you have probably visited Bud's home and seen this painting a number of times. I've photographed it a number of times, but not until we began to prepare for it tonight did I begin to really look at it. And when I began to see the relationship between the images on the painting, the whole thing, it opened up to me entirely again. Now, I've always thought of this head on the right as somewhat grotesque, as hanging there, almost as if it's a war trophy. But now we begin to move into the total panel. You realize that this head has a body, and that the image begins to continue. Go ahead, Burnett.
Well, this image here on the
Go ahead, Burnett.
well, this image here on the right, the one that Alan spoke about, the head sort of looks like it might be a trophy, but actually it's part of the body of a man, and this man is